I know you do talk in the book here. I was looking at it as you still making cold calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And cold call is I'd say disruptive, right? As opposed to
yes, it is. Sure it is.
But it still works for you, doesn't it? Though.
Yes. Because ultimately you've got to get in to see somebody. Now, there are all different techniques to do that, but you've got to get in to see somebody. You can't make a sale without meeting them somewhere along the line, whether it's on the phone or in person. You've got to meet somebody. Selling is one of those things where if you have nobody to sell to, you might as well just go home because there's nothing else to do.
It's
at the end of the day, you go, oh, okay, I think I'll sell to the door. I mean, you can't do that.
I'm laughing, and the reason being is because I was working with a company, and they were deathly afraid of making phone calls. It was a smaller company, deathly afraid of making cold calls to companies. So one of the guys who's part owner of the company said they aggressively waited by the phone for it to ring. And
I love that line. That's great line. What a great line. Isn't that just a great line? I just love that. Aggressively waited for the phone to ring. But companies will do, and especially reps, will do all kinds of marketing things, and they'll send things or they email, and nothing happens. You've got to pick up the phone to make something happen. You've got to be proactive.
Absolutely. I always give the kind of this one, right, is that if you're starting out and you have no network, you have nothing, you're not in the industry or anything, or even starting up a company or anything, you do not have a massive amount of exposure out there. So the quickest and easiest way to get it is target the people, figure out who it is that you want to be talking to, and make those calls. And I'm going to ask you a couple
But you see, what's happening now is that people are thinking that the social media is going to do that for them, and it's not going to do it.
No.
It doesn't do what you think it's going to do.
No.
It does not bring awareness to your product. People think it does, but it does not bring awareness to the product, so they count on that.
It's it's a piece, is what Kirsten and I often talk about. We could rant on this for days, right? It's for us, it's a piece, but the problem is there is so much noise out there.
And often people use it as a crutch, right?
Yeah.
They think if I can just focus on that, and salespeople love to be busy. That's something that can definitely keep someone busy and focused on hope that someone's gonna buy my and aggressively use social media so you can aggressively wait at the phone.
But as I say, I give this you got to start making cold calls, and there's ways around making a cold call. One of the things that I often tell people is if you have to make a cold call, at least try to make it somewhat warm. Get a piece of information, send it to them, and just basically say, hey, I'm going to follow up with you at Tuesday next week or early next week or something like that. And I always find if you call between that 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning, when no assistant's there, this guy's not necessarily, or the person, I shouldn't say guy, gal, are not necessarily into their workday. They are more prone to at least listen to you. As opposed to if I'm 2 hours into my workday and that phone rings, I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" You're not going to get it.
Well, because you're in the middle of doing what you're doing, whatever that is, and so you're interrupting. You're absolutely right. But one of the things that I used to say to people, and it's not a contradiction, but I used to tell people, if you're going to mail something, which is fine with me, don't assume the mailing itself is going to do anything for you except maybe punch through a little bit. But it's not going to suddenly get you the appointment by itself. You still have to make that appointment.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people do mailings, and they'll mail 100 letters in a day, and then they're going to follow up, which of course they can't because it's too many letters. And then what they do, And then what they do is they think, well, see, the mailing didn't work. Well, the mailing didn't work because it wasn't designed to work.
Yep.
It was designed to get you a softer approach than it is. Same with email. Same thing with email. Oh, I write a nifty email message. The guy's going to buy in or the woman's going to buy in. But all it does is soften it just a little bit. It's not going to make the sale for you.
Absolutely.